Does the Haunted Mansion suck? Now let's go through it real quick. Haunted Mansion came out in 2003, the first one with Eddie Murphy. Liked it as a kid, didn't like it as an adult. Rewatched it a couple years ago, doesn't hold up, unfortunately. The Muppets Haunted Mansion though, I think is a really fun romp, a really cute and quaint little adventure to watch around Halloween time, especially with your family. Now we have the Haunted Mansion, and I believe this is the first time that we actually have like a reboot or a remake or just a retelling of a Disney classic theme park attraction movie. So if this movie can come out, then you know what? Let's see another Pirates of the Caribbean. Let's just see a brand new movie without Jack Sparrow. And trust me guys, when I say this, the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie is my favorite movie of all time. Might not be the best movie, but I enjoy watching it the most. But that's neither here nor there. Does the Haunted Mansion suck? Hey guys, my name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic. Thank you guys so much for being with me today. I really do appreciate it. I was able to see the Haunted Mansion a few days early, and I'm here to tell you if it sucks or not. But let me know guys, are you guys big fans of the Haunted Mansion attraction? Do you guys like it more on Disneyland, Disney World, the Phantom Manor in Disneyland Paris? Do you guys like the Eddie Murphy movie? Whatever the case may be, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear them, and make sure you guys stick around to the end of the video so you know my rating of the film, or else maybe going into a film that might not be right for you. Now, let's get started. Justin Simien is our director, and he has done such films as Dear White People and Bad Hair, and our cast includes LaKeith Stanfield, Tiffany Haddish, Owen Wilson, Danny DeVito, Rosario Dawson, Chase Dillon, and many other cameos that are actually some pretty high-profile actors. And the story is that a woman and her son move into this haunted mansion. Of course, it always happens with like, oh, we just moved in, we didn't know that this house was haunted. It's like, what did you expect? So she requires the help of a physicist, a priest, a psychic, and a professor. I'm just realizing right now that all those job descriptions start with the letter P to get rid of all these bad spirits in the house. So, is this worth watching? Does it suck? What did I think of this movie? Something really odd happened when watching this movie. The entire theater was laughing. There were many funny moments in this movie, and lots of the moments, I'll admit, I actually chuckled myself as well. I'm like, you know what? That's actually pretty good. That's pretty funny. That's pretty clever. That's pretty funny. And there's actually some moments that genuinely made me laugh, like out loud, quite loudly, right? But then when I'm driving home, I'm thinking about the movie. Of course, that's how I kind of formulate my thoughts and formulate what I'm going to say in this review. I'm like, you know what? That's a very funny movie. I can't remember anything that happened in it, and that's a problem. I was thinking to myself, there's some funny moments in that movie. I can't think of any of them. And I think it's because they're not like that funny, but they're just funny enough that you're thinking to yourself, you know what? I wouldn't expect this kind of humor out of a Haunted Mansion movie. And this is the thing. I don't think that this movie has that really big standout funny moment, other than the one in the trailer. Of course, like you have the sketch artist and they're drawing like that little ghost from the ride, of course. And I mean, I saw it in the trailer already, so I didn't really laugh out loud in the theater. A lot of people did, but even people like who saw the trailer, I could see they're going like, oh, here's the part, here's the part, here's the part. So the humor doesn't necessarily come from the gags. There's a couple of, you know, kind of funny one-liners, but I think that the comedy comes from the characters and the great chemistry that all these actors have. And it's a very odd cast. Like, I heard about this movie quite a while ago. I'm going, oh, wait a minute. Owen Wilson, Danny DeVito, Rosario Dawson, and Tiffany Haddish are all in the same movie, and we're making another Haunted Mansion movie? This is very odd. And having LaKeith Stanfield as our lead, I think is another odd choice. I'll talk about him in a minute, but I do love all of the chemistry between the cast members. I think that was the main reason why I was so into this movie. I was actually kind of shocked at how much fun I was really having when watching this movie. And now it's not great, and I have some problems with it, but we'll get into those later. But a lot of these actors were stealing the show, especially Chase Dillon, the little kid. He's kind of the first one that discovers the ghosts, right? So he feels scared, but he's also kind of playing that whole, nope, not today, keeping it lighthearted for the kids, right? He was fantastic. Rosario Dawson, you know, she's in it. She plays the mom, right? Kind of like Carrie Russell in Cocaine Bear. She just plays the mom. The kind of blank slate. She's the one-note character. Not much there. Tiffany Haddish stole the show. She was the one bringing all the energy, all the spunk, and you could tell that she was just having a blast with it on screen. And Owen Wilson kind of plays like that Zoolander type of character. He really taps into that energy where he's just kind of a really happy-go-lucky guy, never really thinking about the negative, always thinking about the positive, but he's pretty dumb, right? He doesn't really have anything going on up there, and he steals the show too. Danny DeVito's kind of like that bumbling old man, and you can tell that all these characters are just having fun with it. Like, they're not the most interesting characters in the world, they're not the most intriguing, they're not the most deep characters in the world. It's a Haunted Mansion movie, and they know that. They're having fun with it. So I love these characters. LaKeith Stanfield, though. This is my main problem with the movie. I can watch movies with messy plots. I can watch movies with very thin plots, or plots that don't really make sense, and with movies that have really bad pacing, or it's kind of boring. But as long as I like the characters, and I like the lead, if I can get behind their story, then that really goes a long way in the movie. I think there was just like this big black hole in the middle of this movie, and that is just not having a very charismatic lead. You know, they give him all the hallmarks in this movie. He has a dark past. You know, he has this big personality flaw, which of course is going to get solved by the end of the film. It's classic kids movie stuff, very classic 90s Halloween kid movie stuff, which, by the way, guys, I did feel like a kid in the 90s again watching this movie, which was really fun, but I just wish that we had more heart in the middle of this movie. The icing of this movie is where the movie really shines. The production design, the music, you know, the jokes are good, right? But that's more of just the actors rather than the actual writing of the script. But LaKeith Stanfield did nothing for me. He almost seemed like he was like grumbling throughout the entire movie. Yeah, I'm a physicist, and yeah, I don't know what ghosts aren't real, and you know, he just almost seems like he's not excited to be there. When the other actors are having such a fun time with it, he just feels like it was just such a misstep. That was the same with Eddie Murphy in the first one too. I'm like, this is such an odd casting choice. Where you have all these eccentric people around him, of course, you know, you want to have more of like the straight for the main character, kind of that person that really soaks in the rest of the world. Of course, you have Tiffany Haddish. She's like going all crazy with her psychic powers, and Owen Wilson is just kind of like that bumbling, optimistic guy, but he's kind of an idiot. Danny DeVito's like that, I'm the crazy professor, right? So it's fun, but then you have like the stick in the mud, and he doesn't have to be the most interesting, but just kind of have some screen presence. I think that was the biggest problem with the movie for me. Just that lack of charm, that lack of energy in the dead center of the movie. Feels kind of hollow. Now, like I said, the production design in this movie is excellent. If you guys love Disney and you like going to the Disney parks and you love the ride, then you will have lots to look at here. There's lots of references, there's lots of callbacks, and it's just a fun time. Like, I'm a Disney freak. I'll be honest. I've been to the theme parks so many times, and every single time that I go, I watch as many Disney movies as possible. I, you know, plan out what outfits and plan out the food. Like, I'm a total Disney freak. So now we have a fun Haunted Mansion movie to watch before going to the Haunted Mansion in real life. But that's the thing, like I said earlier, the fluff of this movie, the filler of this movie, and the icing of the cake is what's, you know, really tasting good. The actual cake itself, you can tell that they didn't really mix the ingredients properly. They were kind of missing some things. They kind of rushed it, and it just kind of gets like this really nice looking cake on the outside, but at its core, it doesn't taste that good. But there's enough sugar that it kind of coats it, right? But you can kind of tell that you're not eating the best cake in the world. That's the best example I can have with this movie. And it's so bizarre because I'm thinking about, you know, some of the jokes, and like there's little tiny well-written one-liners, but there's not necessarily like a big moment that's like cleverly staged. And thank God we have charismatic actors to, you know, say these one-liners. But I feel like a lot of the audience was kind of laughing, going, you know what, that's way too funny to be in a Haunted Mansion movie, but it's not funny enough to be in a comedy movie either. And with the scares, you know, this is a Haunted Mansion movie. I will say, though, that they did a really good job at, you know, riding the line between it's, you know, spooky and scary. You know what I mean? So like, you know, growing up, when there's Halloween time, like I'm always a big Halloween guy. I love, you know, dressing up for Halloween. I love, you know, decorating the house black and orange, yada, yada, yada. But there's like the two kinds of movies. There's like the Halloween movies, the Hocus Pocus, the Casper, the Friendly Ghosts, right? Where it's kind of like spooky, ooh, ghosts. And of course you have like the horror movies, you have the Screams, the Halloweens, the Friday the 13th. And this movie does kind of jump into that realm a little bit. Like, it's still Disney, but there were some moments where I'm like, you know what? Credit for Disney for going a bit scarier with this. And I think that some kids might find certain jump scares pretty scary. And I love the designs of the ghosts. I love the design of the actual Haunted Mansion, of course. Like, it's just from the ride. It's just taken right out of there. But with some, you know, unique twists here and there. It was a cute movie. The question is, does it suck? I think a lot of people, you know, will think so. But I think for people who love Halloween, people who love Disney, people who just kind of want to throw something on and be mildly entertained, have some fun moments, some fun jokes, and want to maybe go into that time capsule 90s hocus pocus like atmosphere, then I think Haunted Mansion is the movie for you. So overall, I'm gonna give this movie a 3 out of 5. My film critic brain definitely sees the flaws with the main character and the story. The story is surprisingly complicated. I'm thinking about it, okay, the villain wants to do this, but his backstory leads into this, but then there's a subplot about the woman in the crystal ball. Then of course the guy moved into the house in this century, and it kind of spirals, and I'm going, you know what, this is way too complicated for a Haunted Mansion movie. And of course you have the tired tropes about, oh, my dad isn't around anymore, that, you know, I'll be honest, are pretty tiresome at this point. But it's the charismatic actors, the production design, the theatrics of it all make it a fun time, an enjoyable movie. I'm glad that I saw it. Will I ever watch it again? Maybe. You know, if I'm at someone's house, you know, getting ready for Halloween, or if I have my kids one day and then we want to watch this movie, you know, I'd be like, oh, great. You know what? I actually enjoyed this one. I wouldn't mind watching it again, but I won't necessarily seek it out, if that makes any sense. So there you go, guys. Those are my thoughts on The Haunted Mansion. If you guys enjoyed this video, definitely hit like and subscribe. I really do appreciate all the support. I also want to plug in my Patreon. The link is down below in the description. We have monthly watch-alongs where we watch movies together, kind of like a BrandoCritic's movie night. We all hang out. It's a great time. I give you guys movies every single month, and you guys get to see content early. So it's a lot of fun. The link is down below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Take care.